Appreciate y'all being here after a great, tremendous homecoming victory this past week over Tarleton State. Very proud of our players and the resiliency they showed and the fight they showed to win that football game, and our coaching staff. And they did a great job of just keep finding ways to put our young men in position to make plays. And then they went out and made the plays. And in the end, getting the victory for what looked like to be a really good crowd. And really proud of everything that was going on that day. So looking forward to playing Gardner-Webb. Obviously, the last time we played them, didn't have a great showing. And so excited about the opportunity to go over to Bowling Springs and tee it up this Saturday at 6 p.m. With that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, you mentioned, talking about the way the games have come down to the wire at home. And if fans have been looking for a reason to come, I feel like those first 3 home games are all you need to show them. But when you look back at that crowd, the homecoming crowd, talk about the energy that was in the building and how that helped you all pull that victory out, especially with the late missed field goal on their behalf and everything that kind of went into this overtime victory.
Well, I think if you look at our 3 games, even though 2 of them have been overcast or raining, I think if you look at all 3 games, we've had great attendance from our fans and the people of Richmond, Kentucky, and beyond, and our tailgating scene and everything that they do to try to make the fan experience more than just the football game, but the football game being the highlight. And I think I credit Matt Rohn and his staff on the job that they've done for that. And I credit our town for wanting to come out, Richmond, and be a part of something and enjoy a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday night, and and watch some really good football players strain and play really good football. And I think that's the most important piece is our players have played well enough that people want to come out and watch them play. And I think that's important for us. I think they enjoy that part of it. They work hard all week. They work hard all summer. They work hard all winter. And, the times that people don't see them, and for people to come out and appreciate what they do, it means a lot to them. And so it's always helpful. I think anywhere you go, it's helpful. I think when we go on the road, if Gardner-Webb has a big crowd, it'll be helpful for them, and it'll challenge us. But those are things that are important, and I think it's awesome to see that people are wanting to come back. I know we had somebody told me we had 32 RVs and campers in our RV lot over there. We had an overspill, or whatever the word you're looking for. And I think that's amazing. I think, again, it goes back, you credit our football team for the success they've had, but last year, and then, spilling over right now into this year a little bit, and the fun nature with which we play. I wish it wasn't as close all the time. But when you play really good football teams, it's going to be close. And I've said that many times that, college football is not a blowout scene anymore. Everybody's talking about Tennessee, Alabama this week from last year, right? Even though they scored a lot of points, it was still just a 3-point game. And I think you see that more and more in college football. You see excitement, you see games to the finish, and, it makes it exciting for everybody.
When you look at Parker McKinney, I feel like he's not had that huge Parker McKinney type game. Is that something that is it game plan specific, or is it there's more film on him now where teams are focusing more on him to maybe try to limit what he's able to do?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. First of all, I think Parker's playing at an elite level. Even though the numbers may not be as high as they were last year, I think when you look at our offense, we're running football. Probably the best we've ran it since we've been here, which takes a lot of pressure off Parker. And so, he's not throwing for 400 and 500 yards a game because we're running for 200 yards a game. And I think when you see that, that makes a huge difference. And Hunter's on here, and Hunter's a big factor in that, along with our offensive line. And so there's going to be a game when Parker needs to have that game. We know that. Well, the luxury of that is normally he's going to do that. And then the other thing is, I think we're growing up the wide receiver in front of our eyes, and the luxury of the running game is letting our wide receivers that have not played here a lot gel with Parker and learn what to do and how to do it. And I think it's helping more and more as we move forward in games.
You kind of touched on it, but playing in these close games, you mentioned what it can do for you, but what were you seeing out there on Saturday in your guys' eyes when you looked at them, both offense and defense, as it was coming down to an overtime game?
I mean, honestly, I don't ever see, I see very little frustration. Every now and then there's some. I see very little concern. And I don't mean that as like they don't care. I just mean like they know they got to keep, they got to play next play. I mean, I called timeout there at the end on, I think it was second down, because I thought I saw a little bit of it. And I don't know if I did or didn't. And it really didn't matter if I did or didn't. I wanted to make sure we knew, people asked, why didn't you let them score? We're not going to surrender. That's not going to be us. And if that's not what people want to hear, or people above me want, then they can do what they need to do. But we're not going to do that. And I think that shows Saturday when that happened. They had the bad snap. Guy put his fingers in the wrong place and the ball went to the left. And, however it happens, whether we block it, whether that happens, it gave us an opportunity in overtime, and we took advantage of the overtime. So, that's the one thing I think that we've preached since I've been here, and the consistency that we've preached it with is, don't scoreboard watch, play each play as a life of its own. And I really think our players have bought into that.
And then just Gardner-Webb, if you can give us a little more on just what you expect from a team as you hit the road.
Well, they're a little different than what they will be last year because, A, their quarterback from last year graduated, but B, they've lost their starting quarterback. And so they started a true freshman in the last game. Very talented young man, strong arm, ability to run, big kid, 6'3", 205 or 10 pounds, best I can remember. Just a really good looking athlete. And then they've added another running back into the fold. So, on offense, they're going to do what they do, screens, run the ball, and throw some deep shots. But and then defensively, they've got a lot of pieces back, and they've got the edge player French, who is a really elite player. He's a Senior Bowl watch guy like Parker and Josiah are for us. And then they've got some big inside guys that are going to do everything they can to stop the run. Their defense is one of the top defenses in the nation. So we're going to have our work cut out for us when we go over there. But like I said, I'll always take our guys and look forward to the challenge that they're going to present.
Hey, Coach, I think it goes without saying that this game has a little bit more meaning to it. Will you talk a little bit about the team's mindset heading into this week?
Well, I don't want us to change. And I understand why everybody thinks that, and why, they think I'll think that, because of the run game that happened last year. And we just had not a great rushing day defensively yesterday or Saturday. But each game I can't sit here and preach every game's a life of its own, every play's a life of its own, and don't watch the scoreboard and then say this game has more meaning than other. Each game means one. Do we want to win it? Yeah. Were we embarrassed last year? Sure we were. But, it's a new team. It's their new team. We're a new team. Half the men in our room didn't play defense last year that are going to go out there and play this year. I look at it more as an opportunity to go against a really well-coached football team and have the opportunity to play a great game on the road and get a road win if possible, and keep building our resume for what we're trying to do this year. So, it's no more. It means no more than the last game, and it means no more than the next game to me. It's just the next game on the schedule, and we have to play it that way.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, you've got Logan Blake. He's now a two-time UAC Defensive Player of the Week, National Player of the Week. He's top 10 in FCS and tackles. Talk about his effort and what it means to the locker room.
Well, I think that's a great question for these three men you got here on the call too. But I think for us, he brings an added value of experience at the linebacker position. He had great production at a school that he was at before, Marion, who did a great job of developing him and you know, he graduated and had the opportunity to move on for a year. We were fortunate, very fortunate to get him. He has a unique knack to make plays. He plays extremely hard. I think if you look back last year, he did a lot of great things and intercepting the ball, and he's doing that now. Him and Mike, who are on the ball, are our two leaders in interceptions and in fumbles recoveries. So I think, you know, the production that both them young men are providing for us is really good. And I think, you know, as he learns his teammates and continues to grow, you know, he's only been here a semester and a half, that he'll continue to have that influence and that spark on our defense.
Coach, when you look at Braden Sloan, 160 total yards. I really feel like I mean, the running game, you talked about it earlier on with what Carter's able to do too. And it's not just, you know, 5 or 6 yards here and there. I mean, they're busting these long runs. I think each of them had at least a 20-yard run against Tarleton State. Is that something that has just kind of come with time, or have they always had this type of ability, and now it's just all coming together with their talent and the offensive line being what it is, and more exposure on Parker? Is that what it is? Is it all finally just coming together for you all?
I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. I think, you know, you know, Braden was young and probably wasn't making people miss as much as he needed to and breaking tackles the way he could. He's worked hard in the weight room to gain his strength and gain his size and gain the things that he needs to be a complete back like that. Josh had played linebacker at South Alabama. So then when he comes in here, he's only ran the ball for, this is his second year. So getting back comfortable running the football and doing the things. And I think Coach Richmond's done a great job of just honing in on those two and letting those two be the guys. And so now when you get in the rhythm in the game, you produce. And, we started off the year with more than two, and now we're down to two. And I think the production is coming because they get in the flow for the game. And now they're in competition with each other. Competition breeds greatness. I'm a firm believer in that. And, when Braden's sitting on the sidelines and see Josh goes for however far he went the other day, guess what Braden wants to do? He wants to get in there and show him why he's in there. And when Braden's in there running the way he is and catching passes and scoring 4 touchdowns, you don't think that juices Josh up? I'm sure it does. But it's friendly. They're both each other's biggest fans, and they help each other out a lot. Our offensive line, our tight ends have done a great job of blocking, and we're finally targeting the way we need to target, and we're understanding the schemes the way we need to understand them. And people are going to try to take it away now, and so we got to be ready for that.
Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.
Mike, I mean, I think it's a Michael thing to be a good trash talker. And I know that was one of the things that you talked about before the season when we had you on our sports show. We talked to you over there at Lake Reba. It was, just being a guy to kind of get the juices flowing. And you all needed some of that this week to kind of help with that comeback and get it into overtime. Whenever you made that interception, was there anything that you said to the team to kind of get them fired up and get them going again?
After I had made the play, I kind of came to the sideline, just gave them boys that juice to let them know like we still in here, and once we do what we got to do, offense can go on the field and they can do what they have to do. Because I think after we had made that play, Parker went down there and scored and was tied the game up before halftime. So, it just I just let them boys know like it's complimentary football. So once we do what we have to do, then offense can go out there and execute the same way.
What was that offense like to prepare for last Saturday? Was that one of those that you don't expect to face again quite like that?
You talking Tarleton offense? Tarleton offense, I want to say, like, to be honest, throughout the season, like each offense like that we see, they kind of like mimic each other in like a kind of way. Tarleton offense, they was a little different, but I know like they had like a man receiver, number 6, I want to say, and they just kept going at him. So once we got him out the picture, they kind of started going to the run game. So their offense was kind of unique, but it's like they only relied on like 2 players.
And then what'd you see out of the defense when you were out there, battling in a double overtime game? Or what was it like? What was being said? Was it calm?
Yes, I feel like it was calm. It felt like that we had been there before. So we all just tried to gel together, and then make the plays because, this is not our first time being in a tight game down like this. We are right now we're like 2-for-1 with tight games. We lost in Western Carolina by field goal. But, after that, we just kind of just stick together and just, gotta finish the game.
Hey, Mike, you had a career high 10 tackles against Tarleton and interception in your last two games. Talk about the improvements you've made that's led to your success in the past couple of weeks.
I can really say like it kind of has been my mentality. I've been kind of hard on myself these last couple of weeks because I know I need to be somewhere like stat wise or like just as a player wise. Like my goals have to be accomplished before the end of the season. So I just kind of just push myself in practice. I've been making sure I've been keying in on different points, making sure I'm watching film, making sure I'm meeting with my coach before meetings. Just putting in that little extra work and then just like when I'm by myself, just doing a little self assets like meditating and stuff like that to get my mind right. So when I get ready to play, I can execute and keep making the plays and building on it every week.
And then being a part of last year's loss to Gardner Webb, talk about the locker room's mindset heading into the weekend.
Um, we have one of those mindsets where we focus on the run. We gave up a lot of rushing yards last year, so we just making sure like on the back end that we're handling the pass, but also that we're focusing on the run because last weekend we could have did better with the run game, and then around the facility because Wells has the TVs playing with Gardner Webb big plays from last year, so we kind of fired up about this game. So we're gonna come out a little different this week.
We really haven't talked much about the tight end position this year. Coach kind of alluded to you guys really being a big factor in the running game, but looking at some of the numbers with your first year here with Parker, what have you tried to do as you kind of culminate yourself to the offense and to what Coach Wells expects from you guys?
Well, like obviously our running game has improved a lot, and like Coach Conrad puts a lot of emphasis on the running game because without a running game, it's hard to, you know, you can't take time off the clock, you can't like do all this stuff. So we we really take pride in like doing what we do. We have tough practices, we practice hard, we do what we have to do so we can go out there and perform on Saturday. So
Talk about what it was like playing in front of that homecoming crowd. We know the first two games are just a pretty good home attendance, but homecoming, man, this is different. So what was it
Mhm.
like? What was the biggest difference in the homecoming game as compared to those first two games?
Yeah, that was awesome. Everyone was there, everyone was hyped. The big like difference to me was like obviously when Tarleton was down, like going to kick the field goal, like that drive, like it was fourth down. The crowd was got real loud and obviously they had that false start and it bumped them back five, but like the crowd was just going crazy and that's all you can ask for them to do.
Hey, Hunter, talk about the improvements you've seen in your game this season coming from St. Francis to your first year at EKU.
So like the competition level is better and I feel like even with the competition level being better here at EKU, I feel like I've come a long way. And Coach Conrad has obviously coached me well and tells me like what I've like need to improve on and what I'm doing well and stuff like that. So just like having a coach that obviously played tight end and like was like a guy at UK and stuff like that, played in the SEC, like having him tell me what I'm doing good and what I need to improve on, like just gives me confidence.
Yeah, so last road game, you and Parker connected for a 60-yard reception. Talk about your and his relationship and how it's helped you grow.
Yeah, obviously Parker's a great player, great quarterback. He likes the tight ends. He likes to get us the ball. So I like to try and be open for him whenever I can. So he can just like have a dump down or, just build trust. So
I don't know if it was Josiah or Vincent, or may have been both. I'm not sure, but they were really getting in. They're pretty vocal in that overtime. Do you remember seeing them kind of like really trying to push the team and trying to get that last score?
oh yeah. I mean, even myself, like I was like that field goal happened, they missed, and then like something like happened to me. Like I just like flipped the switch. I was like, all right, like it's time to go. Like it's overtime. we are still in this thing. We're going to win this game. And like obviously myself and them and Vinny and all of them, I really think everyone was just like, okay, we're not done. We got to go out there and we gotta put this ball in and we got to win this game. So
In scouting Gardner Webb, what have you seen from edge rusher number 47 to French from Gardner Webb?
like coach said, they have really good run defense and stuff like that. And I think he's an All-American over there. So it'll be great to go against him. And obviously, it puts a lot of pressure on the tight ends because we're going to be blocking him like man on and pass pro, running routes, all this stuff. So it'll be a great challenge, and I'm excited to go against him.
How hard is Coach Wells on you?
No, he does his best at encouraging me and making sure he's getting the best performance out of me. I like the bit of tongue in cheek that he gives me as well. He tends to ride me a little bit at practice, which we got a good relationship going back and forth with each other and everything. So I like the pressure that he puts on me, and I think it definitely gets the best out of me. That's for sure.
You've had a lot of success with Australian punters. Is that something that kind of helped lead you here in this same kind of mold?
Yeah, definitely. I've got a pretty good relationship with Jordan Berry. Me and him have kicked together quite a bit. I'm pretty good friends with his brother that plays at UK as well, so it was nice to come up against them earlier in the year. But yeah, obviously I'm the 4th Australian punter in a row here. It's been quite a good pedigree coming from Pro Kick Australia to come across to EKU. Everyone's got good work out of them, so it's nice to be kind of the next one in the fold and putting my mark on the school as well.
What's your favorite American chips?
Definitely the sun chips, that's for sure. I didn't realize my camera was actually on, so but yeah, that's definitely they're definitely a favorite of mine, that's for sure.
Flavor?
Let me have a look. It's Harvest Cheddar. Can't go.
There you go.
It.
All right. And you knew Coach was joking around with you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Where do you think you've improved as you've been here and before the start of the season?
Yeah, I think the big difference between this year and last year, I've actually figured out how to kick the ball forwards this year. Is quite a big improvement. I managed to go home over the winter break last year and work with my coaches quite a bit and have a bit of one-on-one time. And then coming back this year, just focusing in a lot more and kind of understanding the game a lot more has allowed me to develop everything and not really worry about anything else. I try to go out there this year and just worry about kicking the ball. Don't have to worry about like any of the schemes or anything like that. I can just focus on what I have to do, putting a lot more trust in my coverage units and Duff, my snap, has been absolutely phenomenal this year. He's hit me on the hip and exactly where I want nearly every single time. Obviously, with some challenging conditions in the rain and the wind this week was something I hadn't experienced for a while. 30-mile-an-hour gusts were definitely putting it back on me. But yeah, having that trust in my coverage units and Duff as well has allowed me to really just focus on kicking the ball rather than anything else.
And you're the holder as well?
Not this year. I was the holder last year.
Okay, gotcha.
But this year, I've been taken off the holding spot, and it allows Cam to get in the game, which is brilliant. Definitely opens up a lot more offense for us as well. Gets him in the game and gets him some experience, and I'm nothing but stoked for him. I love coming up to him after the game, and it was good. Me and him were joking around a little bit on Saturday when we went to overtime. I went up to him and said, let's go, mate. I remember last year against Bowling Green, and now I just get to sit back and kind of have my towel in my mouth and sitting on the edge of my seat for the rest of the game. So that was quite exciting for him that he got to go out there and bring the team home.
Hey, Jeremy. So Greg Stoudemire alluded to this on the broadcast, but all 3 of our home games this far they've come down to a field goal or an overtime score. Talk about the special teams unit and how you all come together to help EKU out of some tricky situations at the end.
Yeah, I think the special teams this year is really molded together. We've got quite a close-knit group. We tend to hang out with each other as much as we possibly can off the field and just build that trust together. And then on the usual practice days and everything, both fields are being used down on the practice facility. So we kind of go up to the rugby field at the top and we really just hone in on our craft and just kind of go over the process over and over again. And I think just repetition leads to consistency rather than just kind of winging it and going out there and giving it your best shot as such. Like it's just like a normal practice rep for us at this point. So Pat and Duff have it dialed with Cam as well. It's just automatic for those guys now. Just the snap to the catch and the kick. It all works out perfectly, and the same as on the punt unit as well. Duff and I have a great understanding. We're roommates, so we lived together for the last year as well. So we're some Saturday nights we tend to get in a bit of an argument with each other if I say one was a little bit high or a little bit low, but it's all good fun to argue back and forth with each other. But yeah, he's been fantastic this year and really helped me progress through my my performance this year.
Yeah, so on the season, your average is up several yards. What have you done to improve that? And then on your style, do you prefer a rugby style or do you prefer to punt straight on?
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, I think the improvement comes from kicking the ball forwards instead of sideways this year. Had a couple instances last year where I preferred to kick it into the stands as opposed to down inside the 10 or something like that. So it's definitely a lot better on my behalf this year that I've kind of figured that out and honing in my craft with my coaches back in Australia as well. And our new special teams coordinator, Coach Day, me and him have a brilliant relationship. He leans on me for a lot of the decisions out on the field. He kind of asks what I prefer to do, and it just comes down to situational, where we are in the field, how deep we are, the weather, the wind, everything is opposed to what I want to kick. Definitely going into the breeze, staying in the pocket and allowing that ball to spiral through the breeze is a lot better. But when the wind's behind me, I love sitting outside the pocket on that rollout kick and letting it kind of hang up there and the wind carry it. So it's really just situational to see where we are on the field. And Day and I have a great relationship in communicating back and forth to what's going to work the best.